Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar on Deep Dive Audit with Remote Auditing Methodology, RAM. The discussions about new approaches to auditing, the use of technology and strategies for remote auditing has continued for many years. However, few businesses report introducing remote auditing beyond the test scale in various business polls conducted over the past couple of years. The sudden insertion of COVID-19 and its related worldwide travel restrictions, coupled with the current need for regulatory, legal, and third-party ISO management system standards, certification, or accreditation audits, is renewing the debate and concentrating on new normal audit initiatives to identify alternatives to the conventional face-to-face audit that can now be implemented. Remote auditing may be a good alternative, especially since most businesses have restricted travel to critical business functions, and many countries around the world have temporarily suspended internal and external borders. This webinar is conducted with support from ACAB, an international accreditation body. ACAB was very kind to provide us the material, procedures, and documents related to the remote audit methodology. This webinar has been designed mostly from the material provided by CAP. We have also relied on the various literature available on the topic. For example, ISO standards and ISO communication on the remote audit techniques, guidelines by the International Accreditation Forum, World Economic Forum, Deloitte Consulting, McKinsey and Company, Roy Lichtenberg and others. I'm pleased to be here. My name is Sandeep. I'm a chartered engineering and management consulting professional with 30 years of extensive industry experience. I have functional expertise in strategic management, operational excellence, system analysis and development, management system and sustainability standards, risk management, technical regulations, conformity assessment, and accreditation. The agenda for this webinar is going to be setting the context, terminology and definitions, introduction to the remote audit methodology, remote audit advantages and limitations, remote audit risk assessment, remote audit program management, how to collect audit evidence, and of course, reporting and closeout. The aim of this webinar is to demonstrate how audit of ISO management system standards can be achieved remotely without compromising on the requirements of the standard, depth of inquiry, or evidence required. The intended audience of this webinar is regulatory bodies, certifying bodies, accreditation bodies, client organizations undergoing audits, audit support teams at both the organization, that is audit team, and auditee team and stakeholders, so that all the interested parties are on the same page while planning and executing remote audits using information and communication technology. The outbreak of COVID-19 has undeniably changed the standard methods of working. For many employers and employees across the globe, one of the key public health responses to the global coronavirus pandemic has been social distancing. That is, avoiding large group of people in close quarters in order to inhibit the spread of COVID-19, the disease caused by the virus. Along with shutting down sport venues, closing temples and stores, and limiting restaurants to takeout service only, a major tactic for social distancing has been encouraging or requiring people to work from home. Previously, only around 7% of US workers had the option to regularly work from home. Some jobs, by their very nature, are difficult or impossible to do away from the standard work site. Think of restaurant servers, hairstylists, plumbers, police officers, or construction and factory workers. Generally speaking, knowledge workers such as executives, IT managers, financial analysts, and accountants have access to telework. A typical crisis plays out over three time frames. First, respond, in which a company deals with present situation and manages continuity. Second, recover, during which a company learns and emerges stronger. And third, thrive, where the company prepares and shapes the next normal. As organizations begin the recovery process, they are thinking more strategically about the essential versus non-essential personnel, processes, and policies. For example, they are deciding what work can be done remotely or an ongoing basis and what needs to return on site. When the crisis ends, many organizations are looking to automation and artificial intelligence to take more routine tasks, be it manufacturing or service industry. One outcome of the current lockdown is that businesses have had to rethink how they communicate. Whereas there was once a great emphasis on being physically present for meetings, now companies have no choice but to host sessions virtually. Platforms such as Zoom and Microsoft Teams have seen a surge in usage. As a result of this, the former saw its daily active users soar from 10 million before the pandemic to 200 million. But the companies using them are benefiting too. A big advantage is that virtual meetings remove the need for travel time and expenses, as well as allowing employees who may struggle to get into the office each day, maybe because of either their childcare needs or any other lifestyle factors, to join the meeting from home. This is now becoming normalized, and the trends is likely to stay here. The same is true for auditing. In-person auditing might be preferable, but the adoption of appropriate software now means that those who are unable to physically attend in future will not have to miss out. A remote management system audit, also known as e-audit, is exactly same as an on-site audit, but using electronic means to remotely observe the processes and equipment, interview and interact with people, and obtain audit evidence, and evaluate it objectively in order to determine the extent of conformity to the audit criteria. Remote intervention techniques are similar to those used in person, but for instance, you can share a file via email or Google Drive or Box. In addition, the company can provide documents by sharing its desktop screen or via video conference using Skype, Zoom, etc., which is also used for interviews together with a phone. Surprisingly, reviewing documents and records virtually can even can even be more effective than doing so on site. Some areas that can present difficulties during a remote audit interventions involve manufacturing processes or product storage. In these cases, remote interventions can use live video or even surveillance video to exchange necessary information. Remote audit methods are already mentioned in ISO 19011 guideline for auditing management systems. According to the standard, the nature and scope of the remote audit methodology may differ. Additionally, rise of cloud service adoption will help to improve the efficiency of collaborative and remote working. This will ultimately help to strengthen the supply chains. Now let us try to understand some of the terminology and definitions used in this webinar. Audit. An audit is an evidence gathering process. Audit evidence is used to evaluate how well audit criteria are being met. Audit must be objective, impartial, and independent, and the audit process must be both systematic and documented. Third-party audits are external audit as well. However, they are performed by independent certification bodies or accreditation bodies or regulators. As per ISO 19011, remote audit refers to the use of information and communication technology to gather information, interview and auditee when face-to-face methods are not possible or desired. The remote audit is conducted with a method or methods such as teleconference, video conference, remote screen sharing, document sharing from server, video recordings, live camera, viewing of real-time software applications such as ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning Software, or other methods. Virtual audit is a set of audit activities on a virtual environment. A virtual environment may be composed by digital and or non-digital activities using technological assets such as software, hardware, sensors, PLCs, automated devices, taking some or all decisions in the process. Virtual site is a virtual location where a client performs work or provides a service using an online environment, allowing person irrespective of physical location to execute processes. Auditor, a competent person who conducts audit. Auditee, a person or group of persons from the client organization being audited or assessed. Audit evidence, all the information used by the auditor team in arriving at the conclusions on which the audit opinion is based. Remote audit. Remote audit is one of the methods of audit listed in Annex A1 to ISO 19011 2018 version. The importance of this audit method lies in its ability to offer versatility in achieving the audit goals. To realize the benefits of this audit method, all stakeholders should be aware of their position in the process, the inputs, expected outcomes, and the risk and opportunities that will provide the basis to achieve the audit and audit program objectively. The purpose of remote audit is to determine the level of confidence in the audit organization's management system to produce consistent results as per customer, regulatory, statutory requirements and compliance, and of course with the relevant management system standard via direct observations conducted through information and communication technology. The procedure for remote auditing should explain how a certifying body or an accreditation body can use remote audits to improve the quality and reliability of its certifying processes while providing ICT-based audits. This procedure can be applied for all the standards covered under the certifying or accreditation schemes. The following types of audits, either single or multi-sites, can be covered under remote audit methodology. Initial certification or accreditation, which consists of stage 1 and stage 2 audit, surveillance audits, re-accreditation audits or recertification audits, follow-up audits, scope extension or scope reduction audits, and special audits. Remote audit methodology can be applied in the following circumstances. Traveling for audit purpose is not feasible or reasonable due to many factors such as wars, accidents, visa issues, distances, pandemics, epidemics, and other circumstances that do not allow for successful audit on the client side. Of course, to support United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by reducing carbon footprints due to audit or travel and utilization of other resources used for the on-site audit. Or there are unavoidable changes in scheduling timing for the certifying body or client organization or audit team. For example, it could be either business or personal issues or priorities. Or the number of sites to be assessed is difficult for the certifying body to completely fulfill within its time frame. What are the remote audit's baseline requirements? The baseline requirements are the client organization and certifying body should mutually agree on the remote audit. The risk for achieving the audit objectives are identified, assessed, and managed. Both client organization and certifying body agree to ensure confidentiality, security, and data protection as per applicable legal and statutory requirements. Certifying body is confident that the audit objectives can be achieved via remote audit activities. The client has systematic implementation of its management system where records and data can be reviewed at any site despite where the work is being performed. All the information such as records, data, and documents of the client are readily available in electronic format or document reader. The client has virtual meeting capabilities, including audio and video where it has to be used. The client also should have the aptitude and resources such as on-site IT, personnel, and tools. The client and the audit team are competent to navigate an online meeting and remote personnel are competent to participate. The client is able to provide a representative that is capable of communicating in the same language as the auditor. Difference of time zones, if any, must be supportive to the client and auditors. Appropriate and reasonable and legal remote audit tools and techniques should be used. The type of evidence auditors collect range from inspection of documents to analytical review. Audit evidence has traditionally been static, providing a snapshot of a sample set of processes, people, and product-related data. Conclusions drawn from the sample are generally applied to the population from which the sample was extracted. In the real-time economy, auditors are made aware of a smooth operation, data problems, unusual events, changes in risk profile, or controls breakdown through a series of computer-based mechanisms and applications. The spread of massive information systems and enterprise resource planning architectures allow employees of the client to run data analytics and report everything from key performance indicators to the behavior of their customers in real time. Continuous evidence enhances the audit by decreasing the time needed to collect supporting evidence for process controls failure or to assure business is running smoothly. Let us see the advantages of remote audit. It restores the much needed sense of normalcy, reduced travel costs. For an audit program with multiple annual audits, remote audits can provide significant savings. An expanded pool of available auditors. We are all entering into a gig economy where the competent freelancers and part-timers will be available in large pool. Expanded coverage. Remote audits allow for more coverage when competing priorities of volume and time limitations occur. Expanded use of specialists. Specialists can connect remotely for selected interviews or part of audit planning, and they need not be present for full audit. Improved document reviews. Remote reviews of plans and documentation at the auditor's own pace continues contribute to higher quality review and a deeper dive into the documentation. Improved use of available technology strengthens documentation and reporting. Facility personnel's use of technology to capture video and photographic information contributes to improving their understanding and use of available technology. This contributes to better documentation of facility conditions, improved ability to report incidents and conditions to remote corporate personnel, and increased opportunities for future remote training tools. The audit burden to facility operations is mitigated. Time required to gather and digitize documentation, video and images can be spread over several weeks instead of concentrated into an audit period that takes personnel from their daily activities. Improved organization and confirmation of required documentation. Because facility personnel have to review and assemble the required documents, the remote auditing provides an opportunity to organize and confirm that all documentation required for an audit readily available. Now let's look into the limitations of remote audit. First-hand observations cannot be replaced. This is nothing like seeing processes firsthand, observing body language, or even noticing a smell that should not be there. Online auditing also has the limits under certain conditions, such as where the operations are secure and highly restricted, or in sensitive environments. You cannot walk through a clean room with a video device, nor could you take it into many chemical plants or refineries. Remote auditing makes it hard to build rapport with auditees. Opportunities to provide hints, tips, and observations for improvement are lost. It is hard to identify best practices or describe things that others may benefit from outside of the documentation processes. Good auditors do this, and these are often the most useful things that auditees get from the exercise. The lack of personal interaction opens the other opportunities for fraud. The opportunities to present doctored documents and to omit relevant information is increased. This may call for additional planning and additional or different audit procedures. 19011 is defined as a standard that sets forth guidelines for auditing management systems. The standard contains guidelines on managing an audit program, the principles of auditing, and the evaluation of individuals responsible for managing audit programs. The audit program consists of the arrangements made to complete all of the individual audits needed to achieve a specific purpose. ISO 19011-2018 version provides valuable information on how to improve an audit program systematically and just as other departments in an organization are expected to improve. One aspect of such improvement is continually ensuring that the audit program objectives are in line with the management system policies and objectives and procedures. Of course, the organizations in pushing for audit improvement should consider the needs for customers and other interested parties. An area of increasing importance in auditing management system and business in general is the concept of risk. As of 2011 edition, risk has been integrated throughout the audit program management section of the ISO 19011-2018 standard. How do we do the remote audit planning? The lead audit team should confirm with the client the feasibility of the remote audit method proposed at the program based on the required ICT and his knowledge of the client. When using information and communication technology, that is ICT, audit team and other involved persons, for example, drone pilots and technical experts, should have the competency and ability to understand and utilize the information and communication technologies employed to achieve the desired results of audit. Audit team should rely on certain degree of trust and skepticism within the teams and with the process owners of the client. Trust is essential to building a case for effective process controls and the understanding of the business functions. In the case of audit teams, trust is established based on preliminary stereotypical impressions of other team members. Trust is maintained when the members of the team work actively to complete the task and maintain the confidence of other team members. The audit team leader interviews the risk and opportunities determined in the light of specific audit and its objectives and may propose changes to determine the use of ICT. In case of high risk situation, if it is detected, the audit should be on site. All other potential situations should be addressed by appropriate measures to be reflected as needed in the audit plan. This includes the verification that the people involved will know how to use the tool. Despite using remote audit methods, the confidence that the desired audit objectives will be reached is maintained. The plan should clearly identify what, when, and how the audit will be conducted. When revising the audit plan at opening meeting, the availability and feasibility to use ICT should be confirmed. Measures to ensure confidentiality and security should also be revised and agreed. If the audit team intends to take screenshot copies of documents or other kind of records, they should ask for permission either at opening meeting or when using ICT. Audit team and the client must ensure the continuity of the audit and connection and take necessary measures for the risk that will not be limited to one specified below. One, cutting the connection or malfunction of audit software and hardware. It could be working hours or time zones, and of course, audit effectiveness. It is very important to conduct the risk assessment before the remote audit is performed. The first factor we should look into is confidentiality, security, and data protection. CSDP. There should be an agreement between a certifying body and the client organization about the CSDP issues. This agreement should be documented. Use of ICT. There should be a stable connection with good online connection quality. The ICT should allow access to relevant documented information, including software, databases, and records. It is ensured that the authentication and identification of interviewed people is made, preferably with image. It should be checked if observation of facilities, processes, and activities is relevant to achieving audit objectives, and it is possible to access them by video. People in the organization, it should be possible to access and interview people relevant for the management system standard. The people involved in the implementation and auditing should know how to use the ICT tools deployed, complexity of the organization, and the audit type. In case of complex organization processes, product and services, a careful analysis of feasibility of remote auditing is performed to evaluate the client organization's conformity to all requirements. Prior to beginning of the audit, the lead auditor should have the client provide copies of the documentation supporting their core businesses processes, such as policy manual, procedures, internal audit records, internal audit plan, management review minutes and actions, complaints logs, corrective actions, improvement documentation, on risk registers in PDF or other searchable formats. Lead auditor should obtain a facility map from the client that includes the buildings and grounds, infrastructure and equipment layout, storage and maintenance, receiving and shipping, and other areas as appropriate. The map can help plan the route for the virtual facility tour. Lead auditor should also consider the outside of the facility, including pest control, facility access points, loading and unloading areas, and any outside storage areas. Lead auditor should review the facility map and other documents. The review is necessary and will help with the development of the audit agenda. Lead auditor should open the technology platform and conduct the opening meeting. It is very important to ensure the auditee, especially if this is their first experience with a remote audit, that you intend to be flexible and patient and want to make sure that this is an open and two-way communications during the entire audit. Once the opening meeting is completed, it is time for the audit team to conduct the virtual tour of the facility using the pre-planned route which is based on the map provided by the auditee. Please keep in mind that the auditee may have to take detours due to maintenance and other unforeseen activities. Additionally, outside tour may have to be recorded at another time if the weather does not cooperate. Once the virtual tour is complete, review the complaint log, non-conformance log, corrective and preventive actions log, and deviation log. This review will be a good guide to determine what processes and documentation should be assessed during the audit. Discuss the issues that stand out with the auditees and request the auditee to provide the underlying records in PDF or another searchable format. At this point, while the auditee is processing the records request, the audit team can work on any issues noted on the virtual tour and enter the information in the audit report. The audit team and auditee should determine if the technology platform will be placed on hold during these times or shut down and restarted as appropriate. When the records are ready, review them and select a process or processes for review. When using ICT to interview people, the audit team should record the name and function of the interviewed people and tell them what information is being retained or recorded. When conducting interviews remotely, the auditor will need to verify the statements of facts against other evidences. This needs to be asked and analyzed by the audit team. If they are sent by email, the auditor should ensure that the level of confidentiality required for those documents is maintained. It is also important to ensure that there is no noise disturbing the communication. If the audit team is auditing remotely offsite, it should ensure that there are no interruptions or no disturbances. Similarly, when there are breaks, ensure the sound is mute and the image switched off to ensure privacy. When using video for watching online live images of remote sites, it is important that the client demonstrate veracity of these images. If looking at images of a facility, these can be compared with the floor plans. Images of geographical site that are observed can be compared with the available satellite images or information available from geographic information system. The evidence and the way it was collected should be recorded. In a remote audit, it is important to allow for small breaks, typical of those that usually occur in unplanned manner in an on-site audit. Being seated or using the screen continuously can be tiresome. To allow small intervals for stretching legs and reducing eye strains helps to enhance attention when receiving feedback. If this is not possible due to health and safety reasons or the closure of location, then this will be followed up on site in a subsequent special audit or at the next audit. This will be determined by your lead auditor and will be based on your unique circumstances. This is also subject to type of audits, your business activities, and the standard against which you are certified. It is also acceptable for audit team to inform the auditee when an interruption is required to read and analyze information that has been provided. This allows for increased understanding of the documentation and evidence that has been presented and for determination of additional questions prior to restarting the interview. If the time is consumed on issues such as network downtime, unexpected interruptions or delays, accessibility problems or other ICT challenges, this time should not be counted as audit time. Provisions for ensuring audit time must be established. Audit reports and related records shall indicate the extent to which ICT has been used in carrying out audit and the effectiveness of ICT in achieving the audit objectives. The report should indicate those processes that should not be assessed and should have been assessed on site. This information is important for the decision process and subsequent audits. If the virtual sites are included within the scope, the certification documentation shall note that virtual sites are included and the activities performed at the virtual site shall be identified. All the findings with the reports are submitted to the client. The reports and findings are also submitted to certifying body or accreditation body via email or other communication program. The lead auditor should confirm the deletion of any confidential documents, images, and recordings which belongs to the client. The closing meeting is conducted as usual using the technology platform. Now, as far as the audit activities and the ICT tools are concerned, you can look here at the map where we have presented the matrix that for a particular audit activities, what kind of ICT tools can be used. I'll give you some time to have a closer look at this matrix. Thank you. Now let's look into evidence collection methods. The evidence collection methods are not limited to the following: taking screenshots, video recordings, voice recordings, taking the data, documents, records via email or instant sharing, and of course, meeting with staff. The following audit evidences should be provided to a certifying body or an accreditation body: opening meeting, closing meeting, 5 minutes records which belong to morning and afternoon activities. The records such as opening and closing meeting forms should be signed by the client and audit team and sent to the certifying body. The auditor must collect enough evidence to support his final opinion. The auditor has the access to a lot of sensitive or financial information of the organization. It is important that he respects the confidential nature of such information and documents. He cannot disclose any sensitive information to any third party unless it is requirement by law. And he must also be very careful with documents and other important certificates and records that the organization entrusts to him. Let's have a look at the typical tips for the auditors and auditee. Ensure that you have necessary equipment, for example, laptop, desktop, smartphone, and secure and stable internet connection. Workstation, ensure workstation is appropriate to ensure tasks can be carried out with zero or least amount of disruption. You should ensure safe environment, free of hazard and risk to your safety. Calls. Keep track of all calls, including missed calls. Ensure that calls from the parties are not left unattended. Receive or return calls in timely manner. Ensure environment is conducive or isolated space to prevent interruptions. Be mindful of confidentiality if it is not a private environment. Emails. Respond to emails, internal or external, promptly. If unable to respond immediately or within the same day, send out holding email so sender knows you are looking into request or query. Dress appropriately. If you do not wish for your video to be visible during online meeting or video conferencing, inform other parties and ensure they are agreeable. If joined with video, ensure properly attired, either formally or with smart casual clothing. Environment. Ensure conducive and isolated space to prevent interruptions and distractions. Adjust work setup to face window exposed to light. Ensure that the background is professional and work appropriate. Alternatively, you may use virtual background. Time. Log on at least 10 to 15 minutes before the scheduled time. For video conference, ensure connection is stable and test quality of audio and video connection. Recording of video calls, inform client participants beforehand so that they are aware of your intention to record the meeting and to take consent to the same. Work platform. You may use appropriate technology platforms and tools such as Microsoft Teams or other tools. When using other platforms, ensure relevant security measures are in place. For example, encrypting sensitive documents, meeting with password, etc. Confidentiality, maintain confidentiality, protect intellectual property and confidentiality of clients and the certification body or accreditation body at all the time. Safekeeping, when bringing work-related documents home, ensure they are kept securely at all times. Ensure that all communication to external parties to be via your company's or organization's approved email only. Audit conclusion, the auditors should be mindful of the audit report that clearly states an extent of the use of ICT as well as the effectiveness of its use in achieving the audit objectives. The report should indicate those processes that could not be audited and should have been audited on site. This information is important for the decision process and subsequent audits. Feedback from the audit team regarding the use of ICT should be given to the audit program manager. The audit program manager should use this feedback to update the risk and opportunities those are identified. The final remark, innovation and change is a priority of today's business and audit programs around the world. It is not less to say that remote auditing methodology are here to stay with the use of live video streaming, augmented and virtual reality, drones, and artificial intelligence, among others, show great promise in this field. Well, the word of advice, based on my experience, don't let the glamour of emerging technologies prevent you from using what you have now. Drones need skilled and licensed operators for many businesses. In some jurisdictions, live streaming and the virtual reality may require high bandwidth and specialized equipments. Keep pushing the envelope. These technologies are useful, but use what works now with a view to introduce new technology in the future. Remote auditing is not one size fits all solution. It is not a replacement for an in-person audit. However, as a part of multi-year assurance program, remote auditing can play a part and provide assurance when we already have the business as unusual. All the very best. Folks, at Standard Certification Council, we would like to keep you up to date on what we are saying, thinking, and doing during these difficult times. If you haven't already, you can like, share, and subscribe our channel. Thank you once again. Bye bye. Stay home and take care.